Sometimes I don't know what to do with you. So, hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? So, what we're going to talk about right now is Americans are actually preparing for Doomsday, like Doomsday Preppers, like the TV show, like Jason was on Doomsday Preppers. Yeah, I know. So allegedly, both the left and the right are preparing for doomsday, whether that's a societal collapse, civil war, EMP, Armageddon. What's his name? Ben Affleck. Yeah. So, or just any event that would require self-reliance rather than dependence on certain entities, government entities. Okay. So the difference between those that have been preparing for years and those that are started recently is nothing less than the difference between life and death. Now, those of us, and I'm going to get into that in just a second because you're probably thinking, my God, life or death, what? No, listen. Those of us that have been part of this movement, and that's what the prepper community is considered. It's considered a movement, whether you realize it or not. For those of us that have been a part of this movement for years, likely have our own convenience stores in our homes with food and water to last us at least a year or more, right? While the newers, the newbies, okay, if you want to call them that, members of the movement suggest 90 days is good enough. It's enough to last until the government shows up and saves us all, because that's actually going to happen. So the more experienced in the movement, people like me, people like you, people like Jason, like Pinball, like Rudy, we understand that the government will never come and help us, as most politicians will be cowering in their underground bunkers, eating their brie cheese and having their Dove flip-flop and ice cream bars, okay? These bunkers that were created for the federal government leaders, the military leaders, and the families of these people, especially in the catastrophe of civil war or societal collapse, while the rest of us are up here going, holy hell. We are literally in the 7th level of Hades. Do we have enough rice and beans stocked up? Okay. Well, interestingly enough, it is the younger generations that are now discovering, hey, it's cool to be a prepper. I'm on it. So doomsday prepping, like the TV show, okay, is seeping into the mainstream media as Americans of all ages and political persuasions are becoming increasingly worried ahead of the 2024 selection about the prospect of a civil war. I mean, for crying out loud, Jason, or the Angry Prepper, aka, he was on Tucker Carlson. That's how big this movement, if you will, has gotten. So the reasons for prepping seem to be different as well. With one side, they're scared. They're scared of 45, second term. Oh no. Thinking he's going to declare himself a dictator. Never happened, but I'm just saying. They're thinking he's going to be a dictator of the U.S. and people on their left are going to end up as targets in some sort of authoritarian system. Nah, that's what the left wants. But I'll go on. And this is actually at an alarming, ironic number of levels that people are actually thinking this. As for the other side, according to quotes by the USA Today, I'll leave that link in the description box below for you. On the right, it's general malaise, a fear of society unraveling. The point to these smash and grab robberies, riots, protests, right? Now, for the fears of 45 becoming a dictator, never happened, yet those same fears have been expressed how many times and pushed so hard by MSM, it never happened. It never came to pass because it's not true. So the violent protests, the smash and grab robberies, the multiple events of civil unrest, George Floyd protests, pro-Hamas demonstrations, which should not happen. Those are just two examples of society unraveling, literally. So it seems that on the front, at least, conservatives have the right to do it. We're not, hey, in the streets, pro-Hamas. No, never. Innocent civilians, yeah, okay. Never pro-Hamas. There are other differences between the newbies and the OGs. And that is the ultimate purpose for preparing for Doomsday. There are other differences besides the 90-day versus years worth of prepping that have life or death ramifications, such as the reason one prepares, not about what type of disaster they're actually preparing for, but rather why they are preparing. In an article, that USA Today article, a woman that runs a YouTube channel, never heard of her before in my life, she offers advice on prepping. Her mindset, and this is in the article, not my words, is not that of a true prepper, but more like a community organizer. She has 90 days worth of supply, food, water, set aside for her 6-person family. She offers advice to young people, urban residents, and people who live in small homes. Thank you. That's awesome. But first and foremost, she only has 90 days worth of food for her family because she believes that prepping is something that one does to hold themselves over until the government comes to help. That's not going to happen. So OGs like me, you, Jason, Pinball, Rudy, okay, we understand that whether it's a civil war, societal collapse, EMP, Armageddon, etc., the government may take more than 90 days. And in fact, depending on the severity of the event, they're never going to come at all. So part of prepping is being prepared to protect your goods, your stockpile, if you will, with lethal force if need be. Society building comes after survival, not while trying to survive in the initial phase of said disaster or crisis. Wanting to help family and friends, okay, that's one thing. You can't romanticize what prepping is, which is a state of mind. It's also preparing for crises of any kind. Knowledge is power. I have been saying that for years. Knowledge is power. It may come down to us or them, meaning those of us who have been preparing for years are doing so to make sure that us and ours are able to survive. We can't save those who have decided to be to take a blind eye to what is really going on around us. And we definitely cannot save the world. We have to take care of those that are in our little world, our little circles that we have created, okay? In my opinion, it will definitely be a deal breaker Like if we come across children who are starving, okay, that's the one time that I'll say, yeah, okay, we'll help, okay. But those that said children are with will have to work for the supplies that are given. No freebies, no handouts. Sorry, my bad. We as a community did not put all of our time, effort, and money into our preps, into our supplies, into our stockpile that were bought and worked for our family, to just give it away to those who decided to turn a blind eye to reality. And that's just my way of thinking. And I know there's going to be some people who disagree with me, but that's okay, because we can agree to disagree. But when society collapses, I have people in this house right now that I have to feed. Not those out there that said 46 is coming to save us. Okay? Not happening. Sorry. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, and I'm not going to be nice about it, because sometimes I'm tired of being nice. You have to tell people, be blunt, be straightforward. This is how it is. I mean, how many times have you actually heard someone, a friend, family, whatever, say, well, if shit hits the fan, I guess I'm coming to your house with all the stockpile you got. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because you decided to turn a blind eye. Why am I going to help you when I've been trying to warn you for years of what was going to happen, and you told me I was nuts? Huh? How many times? How many times have we had this discussion? Well, now it's getting down to brass balls and taxes, okay? So if I were you, I would think really long and hard on who you're going to be helping and not helping. Because if it comes down to it, I'm only going to be feeding the mouths that are in this house and no one else. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you in the next one, okay? You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less.